Hello! So today I thought I'd show you what the deleted Anakin's flight level looked like in the prototype of LEGO Star Wars on the PS2. During development I felt that having this level made Episode 1 seem too big compared to Episodes 2 and 3. At this point in development, Episode 1 had 7 levels compared to 6 for the other 2 episodes, and as this level was the least complete of the Episode 1 levels, it was deleted to even up the level count to 6 per episode. Unfortunately, later in development we also cut the Bounty Hunter Pursuit level from Episode 5 for deadline reasons, so we ended up with 6 levels for Episode 1, 5 for Episode 2 and 6 for Episode 3. Both these deleted levels were reworked for LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga, but compared to Anakin's flight in Complete Saga, this level was originally quite different in terms of the larger number of sections and different gameplay and viewpoint. So let's dive in. So this first section was definitely something that didn't appear in Complete Saga. This is the approach to the ship that Anakin's trying to destroy. The gameplay here is real simple. You can see there's just sort of basic attack waves of ships in here at the minute, just a circle of ships come by, and then a few seconds later ships come the other way. So this is really early in development. There's not really a lot of code gone into this beyond the basic movement of the ship and very, very basic attack waves at the start. As you can see though, the models are reasonably complete, and there's a weapon here which never really got developed much beyond this. Obviously in Complete Saga we ended up adding, and in fact in LEGO Star Wars Episode 2 we added proton torpedoes. So this was kind of an early version of that didn't get developed much more than that. So this entire gameplay would be shoot your way through very interesting squadrons of ships on your approach to the ship, where when you get near enough it would cut to the second section of the gameplay. So this section is pretty similar to what ended up, or at least the concept behind it is pretty similar to what ended up in Complete Saga. The idea of this was that you were to fly around the ship, shooting down the sort of radar dishes that were sort of in the conceit of the level generating shields. You can kind of see a purpley kind of shield effect going on there, and so you'd fly around shooting down all the shields. Once you'd got to the point where you'd destroyed enough of the shields, you'd be able to go inside. Now the problem with this was because it's on a rail section, if you miss one of the shields you'd then loop around the whole thing, so it ended up being pretty tedious anyway. So this section's fairly similar to what we ended up with Complete Saga, obviously at a much more basic stage. Here you kind of shoot the shield doors to keep them from shutting. On this one you could shoot it and then fly underneath. These ones you can see ahead. As the bullets hit, they'll open up again. In the final game, in Complete Saga, we changed all this to be more puzzly mechanics and a different viewpoint on the ship. And this is as far as you can get in this section in the prototype. The door was kind of shut there. Once through the door, this is again very different to Complete Saga, and more like the movie where the ship skidded to a halt in the film, and then when you're on the floor here, you would be able to shoot down different attack waves. Had lots of different attack waves. You've got Droideka rolling in as well as the battle droids. You have ships ATTs in the background, or AATs, not sure which they are without looking it up. And the idea here would be you'd be shooting ahead into the reactor, trying to knock down the reactor cores as they rotated behind you. And you can see all these sections had to work for 2 players as well, so you've got player 2 temped in there on the right hand side. Once you've done enough damage to the core, the this section would end, of course. In this part you can see I'm continually dying because there's no balance on this. They're just firing lasers at me until I die, so I'll just have to skip out of this section, and you can see some of these enemies don't even die. So anyway, eventually you would have destroyed the core of the ship, and you'd then do the escape run, again a section that wasn't in Complete Saga. This would be back the way you came in. There'd be an explosion coming on behind you, blast doors in the way again. I think the major differences here to this entire level really is the kind of the forced scroll that's going on. And then this is the cutscene for the end of the section. Very basic, not finished obviously. Like I was saying, I think the main difference between what we ended up in Complete Saga and this was Complete Saga was more based on the vehicle mechanics that we'd coded up for that section and we'd got working by then, whereas this was much more an on-a-rail forced scroll kind of section, which ended up being pretty repetitive from a gameplay point of view, which was part of the reason too why we decided to cut it. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed this look at the original plans for Anakin's flight, and as always, please like or subscribe, and I'll see you next time.